This is for you. It's a specific person love reading. So whether it's situationship, whether you're like sat on the knee right now, whether you are in complete separation, whether they're an ex, the whole shebang. We're going to get messages, channel messages. We're going to look at the dark side, the light side, what's going on with that person, what's going on with you, what is the dynamic between the two of you, and what's the best way forward for it. We're going to look around the nooks and crannies. I know, sounds like OnlyFans, doesn't it? Let's take a couple. Oh, nice. I'm going to take a couple of these Lover's Path cards. Love a doorway. I love a doorway. Okay, they're very nice. Not all of the reading will be very nice. There will be dark and there will be light. And it will be for you whenever you get this reading. Whenever you see it, whenever it pops up on your thingy or whatever it is on YouTube, that is the right time for you. Whew, it's very hot in here. Let's hope it gets hotter. Right, Dove, peace and harmony in relationships. Well, I'm all for that, okay? That's what we're aiming towards. That's what we should always be aiming towards. You know, it's short term, long term, doesn't matter. It's got to bring something to the table. It's got to be a win-win situation. We have a doorway. Now, love me a doorway card. I'm going to turn my microphone down. It's just saying that it's too loud. Okay, doorway, opportunities. Yes, welcoming love. Being able to receive, which, especially if we feel like we're the ones doing the chasing or we're the ones who are reaching out, it can often be that it slips our mind or it slips our psyche that we actually should be in a receiving position sometimes as well. So we'll have a look at that. And this is gorgeous. Sun, joy, clarity, and thriving relationships. Okay. I'm going to be working with the Lover's Path Tarot, which is this one, or even that one. And also a slightly more Sacred Rose, Scarlet Rose even, always call it the Sacred Rose. Sacred, Scarlet, Tomato, Tomato. Let's have a couple, see what we're dealing with. Let's have a look at past influences, where you're coming from, okay? I know. Gosh. And let me know in the comments section. Let me live through you. Can you see how my fringe is starting to curl up here? It's because it's so hot and humid in here. My hair's actually curling. Let me know if you've got aircon. Let me live through you. Go, yeah, I got aircon. Or no, I'm just like you, sweating it out in the UK in a brick-built house. Okay, what do we need? That card's getting stuck. Okay, that's because it's the instruction booklet. You're in the hands of an expert tarot reader here, you know. That card really wants to come out. Puts out the guidebook. Oh my God. I feel like we're going to get some juicy messages today, if that's any help. There's one. Okay, and there will be an extended love reading. I always do an extended reading, and that's where we get really wet and wild and wacky. So if you get to the end and it really resonates, it'll be the first link in the description box. Okay. Jupiter in Capricorn, the Two of Pentacles. When you get this card, it's weird because it's like infinity and it's juggling. It's giving, you know, it's giving me worm vibes. My sort of wonky worm that I can do. It's Jupiter, which is thinking outside the box, planet of expansion, ruling Sagittarius, and I say ruling Pisces along with Neptune. You can argue with me in the comments. Lots of people do. There's something here about the choices not just being in the ether, in the 5D. There's something about how things can translate into the here and now, into the relationship here on Earth. You know, there's two kind of measures to the relationship. There's what's going on in the spiritual world, the 5D, the connection, the weirdness, and we will look into that and we'll see if that comes up as well. But I think there's been issues in the past with how this has landed on Earth. So it's okay while it's up here and I'm getting like a bunch of helium balloons. Oh, which is there? Is that a bunch of... It kind of looks a bit like that actually, which is the 8 of Wands, which I rather like. I feel like there's been a need to see whether this balloon can come down to Earth or whether it's going to always float off into the sky, whether this relationship, this connection, this situationship, this thing that you maybe don't even know what the hell you would call it, exists well in the 5D, in telepathy. It feels like it's got spirit, but has it got legs? Has it got feet of clay? Can it walk on the earth? Can it survive dishcloths and doorbells and joint bank accounts and boredom and sitting on the sofa and all of that very everyday ordinariness? I feel like those of you that are tuning in, a lot of you, there's an extraordinary relationship here which can be very tantalizing and alluring. It can be like, there can be really good chemistry, there can be really good telepathy. I keep getting telepathy, so we'll have to look at that as well. The communication feels like it feels floaty and nice, but slightly unreal. 8 of Wands is Mercury and Sagittarius. Think about Mercury, which is Mercury, that winged little cheeky thing that kind of passes messages and it's all about communication, but it's a little bit of an imp. Mercury, if you think about Hermes in the Greek gods, Hermes was always getting up to no good, whispering this in the ear of this god and bitching about a god here and then letting it all play out and loving watching on. So know that Mercury is a little bit of a trickster. And then think about Sagittarius being a fire sign. There is hot and heavy conversation, but there's something about it. And I'm getting weird, this is a weird channel, whew, making my neck hurt. I'm getting weird cartoon speech bubble vibes. Hooters, those of you that watch my dailies will know that if I try and mime, I always end up doing Hooters for some reason. So we've got things being, and this is, look, if I even look at this properly, look, it's up in the air. I didn't even notice that the first time round. What am I doing? It's up in the air. We've got communication, but the communication seems to be up here somewhere, far away. It's giving me Folk of the Faraway Tree by Enid Blyton. If you know, you know, and say hello in the comments, please. Yes. If you don't know, look it up. And even better, read it. It's like the connection is at the top of the trees and it's spinning away to another land. Okay? And then we've got the Queen of Swords, and I feel like this is an attempt to land it. So there's been a need in the past for... There's been like yanking on the rope to try and get something to come down to earth, and it hasn't come down. It's a bit like when you were little and you had that helium balloon. Obviously there's some trauma here, helium balloon trauma. And you like boing, and it boings back up. Okay? Present energy. I'm going to use the other deck for this. Sorry, it was just coming through to me. I maybe won't use the guidebook, which I nearly used in that one. We'll just stick to the cards, shall we? Let's have a look at present energy, where we are. So past energy, or the threads of this relationship, the patterns of this relationship are up in the air. How can we bring this down? I feel like you may have been in the place of the Queen of Swords, trying to... If you think about the Queen of Swords having that sword pop the air out of the balloon and see if that will at least land it. But of course, if you do that, you end up with just a flat balloon. Nobody wants a flat balloon. Just saying. Okay. Current energies. Woof. Woof. I'm going to take one more. For some reason I'm working in threes today. I do want that one. What is it? Oof. Itchy eye. Gosh. Flashback to when I was wearing contact lenses then. I thought, oh, did I just make my contact lens come out? I don't even have any in my eye. Okay. Knight of Swords. I like this. You may be dealing with an air sign, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, because Knight of Swords traditionally does represent the air signs. There's an urgency to speak. The Knight of Swords is like that. If you think of the Knights, the Knight of Swords is the one who is on the battlefield, you know, and comes along and just says, "Sire, there is a message," and then arrives and paching, a scroll, you know. And I mean, it's not exactly the same as dipping into your WhatsApp, but times have changed, technology's changed, but the sentiments haven't, okay? There's some sort of urgency about communication here. And it may be that somebody is on the brink or already been in touch with you. It feels alive for some reason, and it feels more urgent. It comes with the Ace of Wands, and this is a very tame Ace of Wands. Normally the Ace of Wands is really Benny Hill, isn't it? It's a bit like Ace of Wands. That's me with the Ace of Wands anyway. This one it's a bunch of roses. It's like we're not going there with the phallus. But the Ace of Wands is, there's a lot of attraction here. There's a lot of chemistry. That's, you know, it's necessary, to be honest, because without it, it's pretty tricky to make something happen. But at the same time, it might be a bit destabilizing, that. So it's good. Butterfly just went past, by the way. Don't know who needs to know that. It was white, but cream coloured. Really nice, actually. That's a sign. Let me know in the comments, please. And then we get the Ten of Pentacles. This has a lot of potential. There's a lot of potential in the air, and I like the potential of the Ten of Pentacles, because if you have the Ten of Cups, which, I mean, you're not going to kick the Ten of Cups out of bed for eating Wotsits. Nobody will. We love the Ten of Cups, but I think of the Ten of Cups as champagne. You know, it's fizz, it's rainbows and unicorns and glitter and shwing, like this. It's going zzz. Mars in Pisces. It's like Skittles, as if you just blew up the rainbow and it went pew, colours everywhere. Ten of Pentacles is so much more down to earth, which, if you've already got the chemistry side of it and there's a sense of urgency, you want that. This is very, very grounded. So I suppose if you're asking in this reading, does this have potential here on planet Earth with the soil and the seeds and the trees and the pavements and all the stuff and the gravity that keeps us on the ground? I'm going to say yes, but I'm also now going to look at some of the challenges. So there. Okay. I feel like using a third deck for the challenges, actually. Yep. We're going to go Shadow. Shadow deck. There we go. Gothic Tarot. This deck is everything. I love this deck. But it's deep and dark and it's brooding. Let me know if there's any Scorpios in the house, because Scorpio, I always feel like this is your... I wonder if the person who made this was a Scorpio. It always seems very... God, my hair. Jesus. I'm looking more and more like a sort of off-duty John Bon Jovi as the reading goes on. Oh my God. I washed my hair today. I used special conditioner. It looks smooth and nice. Oh God. Let's look at the obstacles. I'm going to tie it up after this. I've had enough. I've had enough. Obstacles. Yes, I get that. And I got that at the beginning as well. Oh, we've got two here. Oh, that's beautiful. These cards are very beautiful. Interesting that we're working in threes today. Okay. That may have a bearing on your experience of this relationship. So think of that in terms of 3 weeks, 3 days, 3 months, 3 moons for some of you, particularly the water signs. You may particularly want to work in moon cycles. So think of 3 full moons from now. 3, and I would say it would be full moons, not new moons. So 3 full moons from now, or 3 full moons hence. Ding! Ringing my hence bell for those of you that watch my dailies. Say hello in the comments. Okay, obstacles. I get this being an obstacle. 6 of Pentacles. I don't know, what is the situation here? I mean, this is awkward for some reason. I might have to put my readers on for this. Good grief. Anybody? By the way, we could run a little caption competition. If you can think of a funny caption for this card, please do. I might put that on the community tab as well and see what we get in. Love it. 6 of Pentacles traditionally is the receiving card. It often has, so in the Rider-Waite, you're going to get kings going around giving alms to the poor. You know, people will be like, you know, give me some of those, and then the money's tipping into the hand. The important thing with the 6 of Pentacles, and the thing to always remember, is very often it's about your ability to receive. And particularly, I think I said at the beginning, if the butterfly just went past again, cream coloured butterfly, let me know again in the comments, drop me a butterfly in the comments. I feel like this reading is very alive, actually. 6 of Pentacles is your ability to receive what you deserve. And that ain't nobody's business but your own, which is a very difficult pill to swallow sometimes, particularly if you're having difficulty with another person and you're very focused on what you're not getting off that person. And that's not to say that you are getting it off that person, or you should or shouldn't feel that way. Life's not very fair, and we know this, but also spiritual growth is a bitch, and I've said that before. It would be so much easier if just hard work in love got you what you wanted. And it would be so much easier if everybody was fair. All's fair in love and war, William Shakespeare, I think. But it's not. And there's something here about needing to do some work on receiving. I would say, and this is only my own experience, this can be very small things, such as, I like drinking coffee, decaf, because I can't handle caffeine. I wish I could, because I love coffee. I have a special mug. Like, I will, for my birthday, get a mug that's probably really expensive, and it's really, really gorgeous and nice. Because then every day when I drink that coffee, I feel like it's an act of self-love. And it's a very small thing, and I know I can keep it up because it's something I like to do anyway, but it's luxurious. and achievable. So I feel like you could start with small things, putting some nice hand lotion on, or even just some cheap hand lotion, doesn't matter. It's the act of looking after yourself, feeling when you're getting tired, saying no to the right people. These very small little acts of self-worship, they build up your receiving muscle, because I feel for a lot of us it's a bit like my abs, you know, could use some work. So spend a bit of time and just try it for like a week or so. If you're cooking for one, say, or you're, I don't know, or you're feeding your pet, get a nice plate for your food. Arrange it nicely like you're in a restaurant or something. Who cares if you then put your knees up and like eat it on the sofa watching Netflix? Great, that's lovely too actually. But just make it, you know, honestly, I never knew we'd be going here, but let's go here. I had a friend, she was a Scorpio. Haven't seen her for years. There are some people on there. Butterfly again, same one, third time. Maybe she's not with us anymore, I don't know. And I've always wondered, I haven't seen her for many, many years. And I was walking through a supermarket with her, like 20 years ago this was. And we didn't have any money, because you don't, do you? We're sort of student age or whatever. And I picked up some of the value tomatoes. You know the ones. The one my friend was talking about the other day, not the same one, but a different one, which is why it reminded me. The tomatoes that are so cheap that when you cut them, they're all kind of full of white fizz, you know, and they taste literally of nothing. And they're watery and a bit gross and not very ripe. And I don't know where the heck they grow them. They must be in some massive polytunnel somewhere. And they're about 99p for 6 or whatever. And I remember this Scorpio friend who, honestly, there's many things she told me that I've kept in my head. And she said, life is too short, Gemma, to buy cheap tomatoes. And she was on benefits actually at that time. So she had no money, but she did buy good tomatoes. She bought fewer things, but she relished, that's why they have the word relish, what she had. So there's something here about you relishing the little things, which may be nothing to do with this person, but when they are to do with this person, relish them too. The smallest thing that this person gives, work it up into a bigger thing and feel it. Not because you're out of your mind and you're fantasizing, that isn't the vibe. It's because you can see something from different angles every time, and you might as well see it from the good angle. And also, and this is definitely, it's giving me an itchy ear, it's true of the universe that it gives you more of what you get. It's like if you work these little things, you start getting the bigger things, because there's something here in this connection that you have about calling it down, bringing it down, pulling it down, but not yanking the string. There's a difference between calling something in and pulling something down. It's not a blind. Okay. Then we get the Six of Swords as an obstacle card. The situation you're in at the moment may call for a bit of freedom on both sides. Sometimes that's not, well, most times that's not the first thing you think. The first thing you think is you want to try and make this happen. You want to make it close. You want to pull. You want to yank. You want to push. You want to do all of these active things. But there's an energy here and an elasticity that's needed for whatever your situation is, where both of you need to be able to ping off at the ends and explore the elastic. And this can be really hard if you're an anxious attachment style person, because you relish being, there's that word again, being close and keeping something in the bubble of nowness. But this connection could use a little air. It could use a little elasticity. So if someone is pulling away, or if someone is absent, or if someone you can feel there's just resistance, give it as much string as it needs. And that may not feel terribly natural at first, but again, it's something you can teach yourself. It's something you can do in little bits every day. And also your own freedom. Value your own freedom. Even if you're in a situation where you wish you didn't have so much, or you wish that they cared more, or you wish this or you wish that, value your own freedom. And for that, it can be the very small things again. I have the freedom to go for a walk when I want. Just whatever, you know, if you can walk freely on your own, I have the freedom to walk freely and use my legs. And I'm really grateful for that. Or if you can't walk, I have the freedom to move whatever it is that you can move. Again, it's elongating and puffing up and love bombing yourself for the smallest bits of freedom in your life. Have the freedom to make decisions, and also explore the other side of this connection. I have the freedom to walk away if I choose, and everything will be okay. Unless you can build that elasticity in, it's brittle and it can break and it's fragile. There is a strength in freedom in this bond, and there is a strength in being able to bring it in and out like lungs. I love your reading. Whoever you are, say hello in the comments. Hello. And then we get the Nine of Cups as an obstacle. Nine of Cups is an emotional wish card. God only knows what this guy sat on his own. I mean, what is he's drinking absinthe. He's got his model railway collection behind him and a very questionable goatee. I don't know about you, but I'm not really a go-to for the goatee. And so God knows what's in his heart, to be honest, but something is. This is the very important card if it comes up as an obstacle card for us. You know what you want in your head, but I don't think it matches what you want in your heart. And again, you need to get to a point where you're very clear with yourself as a human what your heart's desire is, and don't water it down, and don't make it sound reasonable. It doesn't have to sound reasonable. You don't have to be reasonable. Chew on that for a second. Let's have a look at your person. Just trying to think which cards. Oh, I want to use this actually. Yes, we're going to use the Scarlet Rose Tarot for your person. Scarlet Rose. Scarlet Rose. Sounds a little bit like the rock group that I'll be joining with my 1980s Bon Jovi hair. Although it's looking a little bit more Scorpions than Bon Jovi, isn't it? Right. Oof. Ding dong, a ding along, a ding dong. 3 cards for your person. I'm going to take this one first. The Magician. Oh, people. When you get the Magician, I know you're in a bit of trouble. The Magician is such an interesting person. Usually the Magician has that telepathy thing, because imagine we're talking like someone who's on the telly doing a magician's show. It feels like they can read your mind. Pick a card, any card. You know, it's that kind of, here it is. I know you chose the 8 of clubs or whatever it is. I forgot my playing cards then. They have the ability to pull the rabbit out of their hat. They have the ability to do the weird thing with the scarves. Paching! There's a side to this person that is inevitably unknowable, and that makes them very attractive, But I think it's really important for you to remember there's a side to you that's inevitably unknowable as well. And get to know that side. Nine of Swords, they have secret worries that you don't know about because they haven't told you. There's something about functioning or life or succeeding at something that they are, yeah, more than a bit worried about, actually. It's interesting because the Nine of Swords is unresolved. Ten of Swords, like, you see the sort of, there are 10 swords in their back and the person looks very dead. You're like, well, I feel it's come to fruition. The Nine of Swords is the swords of Damocles, where they're hanging above the head and somebody's like, what if the last sword falls? So there is some pressure. I was going to say there's some pressure and stressor. Stress and pressure, or some pressure and stressor. There's some pressure and stressor in their life. And then we have the Queen of Pentacles as well. Honestly, I think that's how they see you. I don't think that's them. The Queen of Pentacles is what I call my Queen of Velvet Waiting. And that's interesting. It's both a compliment, but also could be a bit irritating for you. I want to take 3 cards from the higher self of the relationship. Advice from the higher self of the relationship, which is weird in itself, I know. But we're going to do it. I knew that card was going to come up. Two kids with a basketball in the street. So cool. Oof, this is complex, people. High drama. I knew that card was going to come up. Seven of Swords. Your higher self is telling you it's 2 things. One, there are definitely things that you don't know going on inside this person's mind, or going on between you, or even historically for them. But it comes up with the 2 of Cups. Your higher self recognizes this connection. Along with, because the 7 of Swords also means you need to be able to protect yourself when you need to protect yourself, but without protecting yourself so much that you brick yourself in. There's a difference. And that's why I'm talking about kind of flexing your love muscle. I don't know if it's the rock and roll hairstyle or what, but did I just tell you to flex your love muscle and not mean it in that way whatsoever? Okay, I'm going to have to rephrase that. Oh, I don't know if I can. You know what I mean. And I'm sorry it sounds like that. God. Doodle-doo. Your self-love needs to be strong. Let's just put it there. Because self-love is a boundary in itself. You don't need rules and regulations to fence you in, okay? There's a lot of potential here. And there's also the unknown things with the 7 of Swords and the 9 of Swords. There's a bit of stress on both sides here, which is really, really interesting, isn't it? Oh my God. Okay. I'm going to take a card on I'm just going to take 1 card actually to see what comes up because I'm interested. In the extended reading, I know what I'm going to look at. I'm really going to dig into the magician energy because I'm very, very interested on what's on the other side of that hat. You know, what goes on behind the curtain when the magician packs the table away. But also I'm going to look into the Two of Cups, the potential further, the kind of telepathic side of things. I may also consider a couple of little hypnosis things that you can do, little tips and tricks, and try and tailor it to whatever comes up in the extended. I'm going to look more about your person. We're going to look into that magician. Oh, I like that we got that as a card. Yeah. The card that we get as just one card is the Page of Cups. Page of Cups, and I'm going to show you the cards here. Far as we can see them on my table that isn't in alignment. Yeah, you can see how it all has been in threes. If I just put these three here. This is a relationship of threes for some reason at the moment. It's got this kind of trilogy going on. Interesting that that butterfly came past 3 times, isn't it? Please let me know about that in the comments. This is a complex and challenging connection. We need to know, and I would say as well, what the bridge is between the 5D and the 3D and what can be achieved with that. So I will also look at that. And then we're also just going to channel whatever weirdness comes up, because I'm sure with you on one side of it and them on the other, there's going to be a lot of it. Page of Cups is like the beginning. This is almost a new beginning. And it has all of that potential. And I like that because it's not, this relationship is not written in stone in any way. That's not the character of it. If it was written, it would be written by an aeroplane in the sky, in skywriting. Whew, channeled message. Okay, I'm going to go do the extended. It is the first link in the description box. I would love you to join me, because we're going to get even weirder. And my hair, God knows what could happen. I'll see you on the other side, people. Namaste.